Hello and welcome to Mo Sports. Well, you can see us on your screens. It means it's time for us to talk all things football. You're tuned into channel 150 on your Open View decoder. It's Super TV powered by Supabets. If you don't have a decoder, well, don't despair. You can join us through either Facebook or on YouTube. It's as easy as going on those platforms, searching for Super TV, getting to the channel, either following or subscribing, depending on the platform. Now, let's start the show off. Let me give you the Mo Riddle. Now, the Mo Riddle is that piece of trivia that we give to you to test your footballing knowledge. And this week, it reads as follows. It says, I'm an Algerian international who played for the national team 68 times thus far, meaning that he's still playing. I currently play for Galatasaray and previously fielded for Valencia and West Ham. Who am I? Well, if you have the answers, it's easy as pulling out your phone, saving the following number, 071-621-4746, and then going on your WhatsApp and WhatsApping us your answer. Now, a lot of people have been partaking in this Mo Riddle for so long, and a few of you fall off. I mean, you know it this week, but next week you don't know. So that's us trying to keep you up to times with the world of football and keeping you knowledgeable. As usual, my name is Mo, and I'm joined by Mr. OB.KNOWS himself. Mr. OB.KNOWS, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks yourself, Mo.
I'm good. What can the people expect on today's show?
Well, on today's show, we're giving the viewers a Euro update, and we'll also be talking about Copa America, or Matchday 2 is kicking off tonight. So we'll be tomorrow rather. We'll be talking a little bit about what to look forward to in terms of that. But we also have the Mo news, and that's where we started off today. We started off with the NFD, right? And Mo, we've been talking about the NFD for quite some time. And right now, 3 days ago, the arbitration ruled that Sekhukhune would be given the 3 points and they would be going into the PSL. And that's exactly what we heard 3 days ago. 2 days ago, Advocate Dalimpofu was sitting on the stand in court, and he was standing up for Royal AM. Royal AM were laying a claim against the arbitration's ruling. They want to have a hearing rather, and to be heard fairly in the court. And they're saying that they want, of course, they won't participate in the playoffs, which was supposed to kick off yesterday, but didn't. Richards Bay were waiting for Royal AM. They were their opponent, and Richards Bay were on the field with the referees, but there was no opponent to play with. So it's going down to the wire in terms of the court battles in the NFD. And apparently there's also some that might be happening in terms of at the bottom of the table with the NFD. Cape Umoya might also be going to court to try and sort out some things. Maybe they're looking for a bit of 3 points somewhere so they can save themselves. So a lot is going on in terms of the NFD and the courts. And I can assure you that we did try to get a hold of Sekhukhune United, but because of the uncertainty that's currently happening, they're also not quite too sure about what's going on. The players aren't all too clued up about what's going on. So they don't want to come out and give an official statement in public. So we'll have to wait for a couple of more days until Sekhukhune can get back to us and let us know what the situation is, because it's very interesting and we really want to know what the situation is in terms of how the club is feeling, where they are standing right now, because right now South African football is really going through the most. But let's move on to some lighter news. We're talking about Kaizer Chiefs in CAF football. They are in the last 4 of CAF, and this Saturday they'll be playing against Wydad Casablanca in Morocco. And Coach Stuart Baxter will also be traveling with the team, but only Dylan Shepherd and Arthur Zwane will be at the helm. They'll be standing on the sidelines for Kaizer Chiefs on the day. And I did say that Stuart Baxter is going to be part of this team come next season. It would have been nice for him to be able to handle some official games before the next season begins. But it does seem like that Arthur Zwane and Dylan Shepherd will be taking on the stewardship at Kaizer Chiefs until the end of the season. So that's how it stands with Kaizer Chiefs. Hopefully they are aiming to at least get a good result in Wydad. I mean, if they're not trying to put Stuart Baxter there, it's questionable. But if they can't, because of the rules or the laws of CAF, then definitely, by all means, they can't have Stuart Baxter on the bench. But he will be traveling with the side. And moving on to what's going on in Europe, we're talking about Juve right now, and they are paying an extra 10 million euros to keep Alvaro Morata in Turin rather. And it's a big move. I mean, Maximiliano Allegri coming in at Juventus at the end of last season, and of course he'll be looking to have the best players that he can get a hold of. And coming out of last season, Alvaro Morata is questionably one of the best players in Juve from Juve's previous season. So it was without question that Maximiliano Allegri has to keep him, and he's keeping him for another season. And this is also going to be a loan to buy with the option to buy Morata at the end of this coming season, and he would be going for about £30 million. So yeah, that's what we are talking about in terms of the news. And to to just give you a little bit more in terms of what's been going on in the Euros. Remember that situation with Christian Eriksen when he collapsed on the field, right? There's one man who has been picking up the headlines ever since then, besides Christian Eriksen. We're talking about Simon Kjær, and this is the skipper of Denmark and also defender for AC Milan, right? And news have come out that the Paolo Maldini, who's part of the technical director of AC Milan, he's vouching for Kjær to be made the captain of AC Milan come next season because he actually gave Christian Eriksen CPR on the field. Maybe you might have not seen it on the screens because of course, the broadcasters didn't want the viewers to be traumatized by what was happening on the field. But apparently, Kjær was the first one to the scene and realized that Eriksen was in a very difficult situation, and he turned him over because he was laying on his side. He turned him over and made sure that he didn't swallow his tongue because that's basically what happens, when you get a cardiac arrest. You end up swallowing your tongue. So he made sure that Christian Eriksen didn't have to go through that process and gave him CPR on the spot, which did give him a much better chance of surviving the cardiac arrest which he had. And of course, praise have been given to the Danish hero, and the club that he plays for currently is saying, look, we're trying to give you this captain's armband. Inter Milan fans have taken out a banner as well to thank Simon Kjær as well. I mean, rivalry aside in that type of situation, and I think that is great news for football, and in fact, great news for Simon Kjær. Thank you very much to him for making sure that he knows CPR. I mean, if I had to fall, I know Mo knows CPR.
I don't know anything. If you fall, you fall. Yeah, I'll scream with you. But yeah, OB knows, I believe that he put him in the recovery position, they call it the recovery position, where he put him on his side so we could see if he was breathing or whatnot. Because what happens is that sometimes if the tongue blocks, then what the problem is that it blocks your airway, so you can't breathe. So that's why he put him in the recovery position. Let's move on and let's talk about what's happening in the Egyptian Premier League. Well, last time we talked about the Egyptian Premier League, it was complaints from Zamalek themselves. They were saying that, look, Al Ahly have had too many games in hand at this point in time. They've played so many games this season, and then here's Al Ahly chilling, sitting back on Matchday 20. Now, to paint a picture of what's going on in the Egyptian Premier League, we are looking at Matchday 26 for all the other clubs in the Egyptian Premier League, while Al Ahly, Zamalek, and Pyramids still have game in hands. And the biggest one is Al Ahly. They're sitting on Matchday 19, so they still have to play their Matchday 20 so that they can get back on par with the rest of the league. But most of the league has already kicked off. El Gaish picking up a 2-1 win against Elendach, and Pyramids losing out 3-0 to Smoa, which is a surprising result. 2 red cards in that game. National Bank of Egypt vs MP is kicking off today at 7 p.m., while Ceramica Cleopatra is another game that's kicking off tonight at 9 p.m. But the biggest game that I feel like is the big game of this weekend, not because of who's involved, well, it is because of one team that's involved. That's Zamalek. They'll be playing their game tomorrow at 7 p.m. Now, that means they would have played 26 games in the league. Now, if you're painting a picture for you, I mean, Al Ahly at this point have only played 19 games in the league. And now Zamalek would have played 26 games in the league, leaving them in a situation where they'll have to now go back to court and say, look, we can't have these guys have 7-8 games in hand. It makes no sense. Why can't they come back and play their football? And that's why the thing is, me and OB.KNOWS have been advocating for one schedule across Africa. We wanted CAF to step in and say, look, let's all play from June to June or July to July, whatever the situation might be. But this thing of some leagues playing from January to December, while other competitions are playing from June to Jan. International competitions are now coming into the fold. Now it complicates the whole system. I mean, imagine the Olympics are coming up. Some of these players will be leaving their big clubs like Zamalek and Al Ahly, and they will suffer. Yeah. Imagine 7 or 8 games in hand is what we're looking at.
It's a lot of games, Mo, and I think like Al Ahly have been, I mean, Zamalek have been saying, they've been coming out and saying it's unfair, and at some point they even threatened to withdraw from this season's competition. And I wonder what stir that would cause in Egyptian football. Would they be seen as a team who they think they know everything? You just don't know. And I find it very, very tough to believe that the EFA could actually let Al Ahly have so many games in hand. I mean, we had a 2-week break prior to the league action returning, and in those 2-week breaks, Al Ahly didn't even play one game. I don't know what the reason is. The reasoning is for that. I mean, the next game is, of course, in the weekend. Maybe that's the reason why they won't be playing this weekend, you know. But still, I think they should be being much more fair to Zamalek and the teams around surrounding them in the league as well. They need to play these games that they have.
So let's paint a picture of how Diermakar, this whole scandal, has made the league. Now, Zamalek have played 25 games, going to Matchday 26 tomorrow. Al Ahly have only played 19 games. They won't be in action until after the weekend, once they've played in African in the continental competition. Samoa, the team that just beat Pyramids, they are sitting on 26 games played already. So they basically played yesterday, and then that was their 26th game. And then you look at El Gaish, 26 games. Pyramids have only played 22 games. And we're talking about teams in and around the top 8. And it's very unbalanced because most of these teams, OB knows, although they're playing this, over the next 2 days, they'll be playing Matchday 24 and Matchday 25, which means that they're still behind.
They're still
very much behind. I mean, everybody in this league right now is very confused. I mean, the top 3, we're looking at number 1 playing 26 games tomorrow, number 2 playing their 20th game next week, and then we're looking at Samoa, who played their 26th game. So the next game they play, they go to Matchday 27. So it's a big issue. It's a big issue because mathematically, Al Ahly is still the favorites to win the league.
Definitely. I mean, like you said in cricket, you know, when you bowl first, you know the target that you're going to when you bat, and that's exactly what's going on right now. I mean, it's becoming more clearer and clearer as time goes. Like, you know what, they're having an unfair advantage. I mean, yes, we can say that they still have to play a football match, and you can't really tell who's going to win in a football match until the game is played and it's ended. So I still think it's unfair to most of the clubs that Al Ahly have so many games in hand. I mean, at least if it was 3 games in hand, that's something that's normal, But now 6, it's quite a lot, and it gives them definitely a chance to be able to evaluate, their task ahead, and it could just lead to them winning that league title anyway.
All right, let's go to the website. Let's go look at this situation. I mean, South Africans will already be familiar with this kind of situation. Like OB.KNOWS said, 2-3 games in hand is not a big woe because it happens a lot even in our local football. But let's go to Egypt and let's go see what's going on. Don't forget to access the website. All you have to do is SMS Super TV to 30978. Now let's go to match info, OB.KNOWS. Statistics. We load it up. We go to soccer. We go to search immediately. We don't need to scroll the way down. We say EGY, which is short for Egypt, and then we get into the Egyptian Premier League. There it is. Now, it's a very sad thing to look at. I mean, looking at it right now as a fan, as a bystander, mathematically, Zamalek look like they're in a good position. 55 points is what they had. And as you can see, they come off 3 wins in a row and a draw. They've been trying to maintain that form because Zamalek now is on match day 19. Come tomorrow, Zamalek will still be on match day 19. I mean, Al Ahly will still be on match day 19 while Zamalek are sitting on match day 26, which in mathematical sense, that's 7 games in hand. Meaning that if Al Ahly get all their games in hand correct, don't forget, they've already played Zamalek in their first round of fixtures. Now, they'll be going into this second round of fixtures, 7 games to catch up. And that means by December, Al Ahly might see themselves top of the table and winning the league once again. And the sad thing is that they won't have distractions from continental competition. They'll be just dealing with the league. They'll be refreshed. They'll be rested, which is the biggest problem. Samoa is sitting there, 40 points is what they have. Al Masri is sitting there with 40 points is what they have as well. And then let's scroll down and find Pyramids. As you can see, according to the website, it says Pyramids have played 22 games, and that's exactly where the problem lies. Now, Pyramids was playing in the Confederations Cup, right? And they're sitting on 22 games. Look at the team above them, 26 games, 25 games below them. So imagine you're the team that's level on points with Pyramids at this moment in time, and they have a whole 4 games in hand. 4 games in hand, meaning that they're not literally sitting in that position. They can still make it into that confederation spot once again, which is a big problem for the teams in and around them because they don't quite know if they're doing a great job or not. And looking at the form of Pyramids, they have 2 losses in a row, which paints a very dire picture of what's happening in Egyptian football. Let's put the website away. OB.KNOWS, I do believe that somebody needs to administratively, we know that football organizations from time to time like to hire former footballers to create jobs, but when you hire a former footballer, they don't quite do the admin job that someone who's used to creating the schedules would do. I mean, if you're working in admin and you know that I have to create a schedule for the whole year and there's this competition, that competition, you can make a schedule that's unified and everybody can benefit from. What if now Al Ahly go on to win the Champions League again? They go on to go play the FIFA Club World Cup. That means their schedule's out of work again. Same problem next season. So they'll have to definitely look into it, investigate it, but it's time for us to move on to the Euros. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo.
How to register a new Supabets account. SMS Super TV to 30978 and you will receive an SMS with a sign-up link. Click the link you receive, which will direct you to the Supabets mobile site. Click Login. On the pop-up, click Register Now. Fill in the required details on the form, from your ID number all the way to your contact details. Be sure to choose a strong password that you will remember. After filling in your details, click Submit. In a few minutes, you should receive an OTP if your details were entered correctly. Back onto the Supabets mobile site, type in your OTP. In a few seconds, you will receive a welcome SMS confirming your new account. A 50 Rand sign-up bonus will reflect in your account within 24 hours of your sign-up. Welcome to our family. Supabets, bet with the biggest.
Practice makes perfect, according to the Super TV team.
You know that if you get this, you know.
Yes, if you get this bill, like 10,000.
Okay, here's my logic. I love my TV.
So, SMS Super TV to 30978 and join us for some football fun. Don't miss Football Studio every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. only on Super TV, OpenView, channel 150.
Welcome back to Mo Sports. You join us right in time for the discussion around the Euro 2021 edition. My name is Mo, this is OB.KNOWS, and you're tuning in to channel 150 on your OpenView decoder at Super TV, powered by Supabets. Now, if you don't have a decoder, don't despair. You can join us by just going on your Facebook or on YouTube and searching for Super TV. And once you find us, you can either follow if you're on Facebook or subscribe if you are on YouTuber here. This week is another big week here on Super TV, so you definitely don't want to be missing out on that. Now, let me give you the Mo riddle as usual. The Mo riddle is that piece of footballing trivia that we use to test your footballing knowledge. And this week, well, it reads as follows. He's an Algerian international, currently still playing, made over 50 appearances for his national side. He's played for the likes of Valencia and West Ham, if I'm not mistaken, and he's currently playing for Galatasaray. Now, if you have the answer, save the following number. It's 071-621-4746. And then you can go on your WhatsApp and send us the answer and join the long list of people who have shown us that they know us of football, and therefore they are people that win their bets, like the people here in studio. Now let's carry on and let's talk about what's happening in the Euro 2020-2021 edition. Now, it seems like Ronaldo should be a journalist at this point because he's always making the headlines. I mean, just days before the game, he made the headlines for moving 2 Cokes. If you move 2 Cokes at work, no one will make a hullabaloo about it. But because Ronaldo took 2 Cokes and he moved them aside, it was a hullabaloo. And they were like, Coke stock dropped in a minute. People, 4 billion in stock dropped from Coca-Cola. People sold their Coca-Cola stock like there was no tomorrow. And apparently, this all comes from when Ryan Giggs said to him as a young player that never drink Coke. It's not the thing you should be doing. And that's basically, he made the headlines for that. Then the match day comes. Now, I watched Portugal. OB.KNOWS watched Portugal himself. The first half was very sad for Portugal. They've created so many chances. They missed so many chances. And you know what I found increasingly amazing? Every time you find Diego Jota made a miss, Ronaldo's like, why would you do that? Why don't you pass me? Then Jota does it again, and Bruno Fernandes is like, why would you do that? And you look at the lineup. I mean, Jota was supposed to be the number 9. He was supposed to be the guy taking the shots. But in that Portuguese side, OB.KNOWS, there's so many goal scorers. There's so many guys that are used to being the biggest elephant in their club that now you have to always keep that in the back of your mind. Like, here's a goal opportunity, but where's Ronaldo? Where's Fernandes?
But to be honest, especially with that Ronaldo one, I mean, Jota turned into his weaker foot.
Yes.
And that him turning, gave him a full view of Ronaldo being open.
Yes.
And of course, him being a striker, he wants to take a shot, which I have no
which
problem
is normal.
with.
Yeah, which is
I have
normal.
no problem with. But in such situations,
he should have made the pass.
He should have made the pass.
He
honestly should have made the pass. And we can't be saying that there's prima donnas in the team just because
No, we're not saying there's prima donnas.
Yeah.
We're saying in a team that's full of quality like that, with a team full of big names like that, you're always going to see that on the pitch. You're always going to see the dramatics of, I'm going to pass. Now we fit.
Had it been anyone else, honestly, I would also kind of complained. I mean,
yes.
Clearly he was alone. Ronaldo was literally alone in that situation.
So what about the Bruno Fernandes situation where Jota got the ball, did the swivel turn and shot, and then Peter Galashi saved it? You think it's the same situation?
I think that was even worse. Because you're swiveling, my guy, But for the fact that he's that close to the goalkeeper, you just never know. The goalkeeper could be anticipating that, okay, since he's going to turn to his left, the ball might be going that way. So you might just anticipate the keeper to make that move. But also brilliant goalkeepers and goals. I mean, you can't take Peter Gulashi for granted. I mean, he's been a great goalkeeper for RB Leipzig. So, of course, he's going to stand on his feet as long as he can. That's the basic rule of goalkeeping. Stay on your feet as long as you can. And that's exactly what he did. But I do feel like he should have, both both situations, he should have released the ball to players who were in a much better position.
All right, speaking of which, it's time for us to talk about Ronaldo. Now, first things first, he is the all-time top goal scorer in the Euro, so we need to talk about that. How many goals does it take for you to become the all-time goal scorer in the Euros?
Well, now it will take you 11 because Man's got 11.
Because
but before it would take you 10 because Michel Platini was sitting on the 10, right?
on the double digits.
Yeah, on the double digits.
It took him. Do you guys realize it took him 5 Euros?
quite a
Starting
lot.
all the way back in 2000 and something, 2004 if I'm not mistaken. 04 was 06 was the World Cup. It was in 2004. All the way since 04 when you played alongside Deco, Luis Figo, and it's taken him that long.
It's taken him forever.
Just for 12 goals.
It's taken him forever. I mean, it's showing his growth in the national team. I mean, he came from a point where he was just there to come on for whoever was injured. He was not a mainstay in the team. And I think the growth has shown and it's proven that if you keep a player around for quite some time, he can reach levels where you can never believe. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, being part of that team and going to a phase where Portugal is not a national team that was spoken about. Now look at how
They are the
many
main team.
now they're the main team. There's so many youngsters that he is
that have actually looked up to him.
Yeah, and it's great to see that he's actually taking it as he should, as a leader, and leading the team from the front. I mean, it's brilliant to see from Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right, Obino, talk us through the all-time top goal scorers before we talk more about Ronaldo, before we move on to the next match. Who are the all-time top goal scorers and how does the list go? Because I believe Ronaldo must be in the top 5 at least.
Yes, he is in the top 2, my guy, if you want to know. He's in the top 2. I mean, number 1 is Ali Day. Ali Day has been there with 109 goals from Iran. Actually, Ali Day actually played for Bayern Munich. I had to check that out. Like, where was the guy getting, the clout from? And he was a Bayern Munich striker. He's got 109 goals. Cristiano sitting second with 106. As you can see, he's the only player that's still going. And Mokhtar Dahari from Malaysia sitting there with 89, and Frank Puskás sitting there with 84. So Ronaldo's literally among the greatest of all time.
All right.
Puskás is in there. He's got more goals than Puskás. Wow.
All right, let's talk about Ronaldo's international career. How did he get these goals? So I'm not going to go in depth of match by match, but let's talk you through how he managed to put this together. Now, funny enough, his international form does not coincide with what's happening in the Champions League. But what we can tell you is that he's a little goal shy between the 11th and the 20th minute, and he's been able to stockpile his goals into the 76th minute going to full time. So Fergie time is still in his blood. And this is how many goals he scored in the first half so far. He scored 42 goals in the first half, a whole 64 goals in the second half. So he is dangerous in the second half.
Clutch player.
Yeah, the second half player. And then looking at left foot versus right foot versus head goals, he scored 24 on the left, 57 on his right foot, and 25 with his head. Of those goals, 10 have been direct free kicks. So for those people saying that Ronaldo scores all the free kicks, no, they don't say that. They call him Penaldo. Yes, he scored 12 penalties on his way to 106, and all of the goals that he scored, besides the free kicks and the goals, amount to 84 goals in open play. Now, Obi knows we have to find out the teams he likes scoring against the most. Against the big 5 European sides, he scored 2 against England, 3 against France, 3 against Germany, 2 against Italy, and guess his favorite side to score against? La Roja. He scored 5 goals against Spain, including a hat-trick. Now, let's talk about his assists. Now, players have come and gone in the Portugal side. Some of the most iconic names, the likes of Deco. Deco has provided Ronaldo with 5 assists throughout his career out of the 106 goals he scored. But looking at the main 2 people that have been providing Ronaldo with the goals at international level, Obino's going to give this one a big guess, or should I just go for it?
It's tough.
It's not far. It's not far-fetched.
Really?
Yeah, one of the matches is playing for Wolves, so you can...
Or João Moutinho.
João Moutinho has provided Ronaldo with 8 assists
8
throughout his international career.
So the other guys provided 8 as well.
Yeah, the other guys also provided 8.
Is it Deco?
No. Deco provided 5. I just mentioned him now.
Okay. Figo.
No. The person who provided Ronaldo with this equal amount of assists, which is 8, is Ricardo Quaresma. He's the man who's been also at Ronaldo's side providing all the assists. But funny enough, also some of the young players show up on this list. Diogo Jota shows up with 1 assist. Bernardo Silva, Andre Silva showing up with 1. Bernardo Silva actually has given Ronaldo 6 assists as well. So this Euro, we might see that change, and he might actually get Ronaldo a few other assists, and it might go up. But yep, that's the Ronaldo numbers. It's time for us to go move on and talk about what's happening in France versus Germany. So starting off with that one, Obi knows. I'm very disappointed in Germany, no lie. Somebody was asking me, who do you want to win the Euros this campaign? And as much as I want to say a team of quality, I just want Germany to take it.
Team of quality, boy.
Eish.
Team of quality.
Eish.
And I told you. Thing is,
You told me.
thing is, France is just it's a team that can play with either front. If you want them to be a much more defensive team and catch you on the break, they'll be that. If they are going to be a team that's going to dominate the game, they will be that. And either way, they will win. And that's exactly what we saw. I mean, like, we can look at, the way that Germany played. I mean, they weren't a poor team yesterday. I mean, besides the fact that, France had most of the ball, throughout the game, you could still see that Germany were in the game, especially towards in the second half. They seemed like they were more alive. But because of, the fact that they were more alive, France decided, okay, it's cool. Let's let them, have the ball. Let's let them play. I mean, after all, they're playing in, the Allianz Arena. It's home to them, despite us
being
the
home
side. So I did see Germany, try and go at France, but the more that Germany tried to go at France, the more France would catch them on the break. And we saw it with the 2 offsides that could have been said to be goals in the second half. Those type of scenarios, if you want them to defend, they'll defend and they'll get you.
The saddest part about it is I was watching a little documentary, a little short film on basically what happened in Germany, because people are saying this team got knocked out of the group stages of the World Cup, the previous World Cup that France won. And we're looking at, in this game, 2 teams that actually won the last 2 previous World Cups. So somebody was saying, what happened to Germany? Apparently, according to some sources, they think that Joachim Löw might have lost the dressing room. I mean, he made the statement only last year that he's dropping Mats Hummels and he's dropping Thomas Müller. And the way he made the statement was just before Germany played a very important game against Barcelona in the Champions League. So a lot of people are saying, but you don't just come out and say that just before a big game. Now the players' minds are not in there. And then just days before the tournament kicks off, you're like, no, I want them back. Because now he's starting to think, he says he thinks in 2-year intervals. Now he doesn't have 2 years. He has only this tournament. So now he's like, I need to call them back, get the creativity into the side. My question now remains, okay, fine, Thomas Müller is a quality player. And I'll be the first and the last person to tell you just how great Thomas is. But there's a couple of young players in there. I mean, so Timo Werner won the Champions League just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Why does he not get a start over Thomas Müller? As much as Thomas Müller had a great season and all the assists, we give him all the accolades. But this is a young side. A lot of young players that get it. I mean, Kai Havertz plays with Timo Werner at club level. Yeah. Why would that combination not work at international level? So a lot of the rumors are saying that he has lost his dressing room. The young players don't feel that connection to him anymore. The older players feel betrayed a little bit by him, by the statements he's made. I mean, looking at that side, Toni Kroos was the only big name or old name that made it in there and had no speculations around him. Yeah. So you're looking at a side that lost a lot of their key players. Philipp Lahm gone, Schweinsteiger gone, Miroslav Klose gone, Podolski gone, but they're a new side, and I think that Germany are one to look at, not right now for this tournament, but in the next World Cup coming up. If they know now that the coach is coming in, your favorite coach is coming in, so I think maybe they're an outfit to look for the next tournament, not this one. But let's talk about that goal, OB.KNOWS, because there's something that I found out. You know that in cricket there's something called the corridor of uncertainty. So let's imagine it's a cricket pitch, and these are the wickets over here. So the corridor of uncertainty is just off the wickets. Now the batsman thinks to himself, that's too far for me to reach, but I need to swing at it because I can't leave it and then it spins in and hit my wicket. So it's the corridor of uncertainty because the batsman doesn't quite know what to do. Yeah. So that's what they call the corridor of uncertainty in cricket. But in soccer, is that little space between the defenders and the goalkeeper. Now, in the 6-yard area, when you're looking at that area just in front of the goalkeeper and just behind the defenders, if a player was to throw a ball into that area, the defenders turn back to look at their goalkeeper. The goalkeeper doesn't know whether to come for it or not because it's too far away from him, but he can't get there. And the defenders, for them, it's too far away from them, but they need to get there. And if they get there, they're facing their goal. So if they get any kind of touch, it ends up in a goal, just like we saw with Mats Hummels.
I think the matter starts a bit further before that. I think the issue starts with the back three firstly with Germany. I mean, I'm not used to Germany having a back three, and I think that's where we can question why Werner wasn't on. I think they wasted an extra player at the back line having Matthias Ginter as the right centre back because Rudiger was all over the place. Looking at that goal as well, I mean, there was a point where he was actually marking Karim Benzema, and when the ball was thrown in, there was already another German player who was closing down. The guy was receiving. Was Pogba actually received that ball, if I'm not mistaken, from the throw.
Played it to Benzema, got back to him and played it long.
But had Rudiger stayed with Benzema and not went on to put pressure on Pogba, because there was already a man putting pressure there, it allowed Benzema to have the space to be able to pick out Pogba once again, and he picked out that pass that went towards the left-hand side, and the cross came in, and it brought it in a goal. So I think the issue starts with that back three first of all, and having that back three means that now we have to push at Gosens, who actually has been very good for Atalanta, but I don't think that he was meant to start in that game. I mean, even if you did start him, but that right centre back was where you wasted your man. You could have had a Timo Werner who was going to be helping you up front. I was shocked to see that they actually don't have an out-and-out number 9.
They've never an out-and-out
Werner
number
could be
9.
your number 9, Kevin Volland could be your number 9, but he didn't opt to go with either of them, and I think that was just his problem in that game.
Well, it seems like it's a deep problem. But let's talk about Paul Pogba now. Let's talk about his season in the Premier League, of how he's been performing in the Premier League ever since he signed for Man United. He's had 137 appearances, 28 goals. He's won 76 of the 137 games he's played in and only lost 22. And his goal per game ratio is sitting at 0.20. And look, he's been a great player for the side. I mean, he's been something special to watch. His cross accuracy is at 13%, which shocks me because everybody knows how powerful he is when it comes to the long pass. The vision that he had to pick up the player that actually threw the ball into that corridor of uncertainty and getting that own goal. It shows you just the vision that he had, because at the time when he took the pass, all of us at home were like, who is he passing? The next player shows up from out of the shot, like, where did that guy come from? But that's the quality of Paul Pogba. I mean, that's why he's so dangerous, and that's why he's one of the players you need to look out for whenever you're playing against France, because they might have Kante in there, they might have Tolisso, but Paul Pogba, always a very dangerous player, especially with his passing range. Now, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the games that are coming up in Euro 2020.
You are watching Super TV, Open View, channel 150.
Welcome back to Mo Sports. Now, if you're just joining us, we are talking all things Euro 2020, as you can see on your shot right there. My name is Mo, and this is Mr. OB.KNOWS, and you're watching Mo Sports on channel 150 on your OpenView decoder. It's Super TV powered by Supabets. Now, alternative means of catching the show is either going on your Facebook or on your YouTube, searching for Super TV and subscribing or following based on the platform you're on. Now, let's talk about the Mo Riddle, that piece of trivia we give you on the show to test your footballing knowledge. Now, he's an Algerian international, still currently playing, has made over half a century of appearances for his national side. He's played for the likes of Valencia and West Ham and currently plays at Galatasaray. If you know who he is, the number is 071-621-4746, and that's what you need to do. Save that number, go on your WhatsApp and send us the answer. Now, just before the break, we were talking about the results of what happened in the Euros. We talked about the two big games, which is Portugal with Ronaldo and France with Pogba, and we talked about Germany, the uncertainty of do the players have the coach on their side? Do the players play for their coach? Another thing that I heard of, is that the players are actually scared of the coach. So it's something there's a lot of rumors I'm hearing about Germany, and that actually really struck a nerve for me, because for the amount of time he's been there. I mean, when he got Thomas Muller as a coach, Thomas Muller was still a boy, and now Thomas Muller is a man. And imagine falling out with some of the players that you found as young boys, the players that should be advocating for you in the dressing room, saying this guy is a genius. But those are the same players that are saying, but he dropped me last year. He said to me, I'm not going to make it here. Now I'm here, And then now he puts you into that spine. So it's something else. It's something that we need to discuss. But let's go on to the website. Let's check out the results of what's been happening in the Euros before we look at the fixtures. In fact, we'll look at both right now. So let's just wait while we get that one ready. OB.KNOWS, let's go to the website. Let's go see what's happening there. As you can see, Italy opened up the games for us. They won 3-0. Wales and Switzerland still to get a win in this tournament, while Denmark lost out to Finland in that very dramatic game. Belgium getting their 3 goals, while the man of the moment got himself a brace. England, Austria and Netherlands making sure that all the home sides, according to the Euros placements, won their games. And then the next day, All the away sides won except for Sweden, who drew against Spain 0-0. Very worrisome because Spain had all the possession. I've never seen such possession stats in a match, but they couldn't convert that to goals. Wow. They looked like they were writing an exam and they knew all the answers because they had like 70-something% of possession. Hungary losing out to Portugal, that one was expected, but don't let the result fool you. All these games coming late on in the game. Let's go to France versus Portugal. Let's go to the head-to-head for that one, OB.KNOWS. I just want to see the 11s because OB.KNOWS posed a very good question. Is this the best side that Joachim Löw could have fielded? Now, looking at where OB.KNOWS was complaining about, OB.KNOWS was complaining about that number 6, number 20 position. He was saying that he lost an extra man there because now he was playing with 3-4-2-1, and he could have had an extra player up front getting him all the goals. In fact, if he went with the German mentality of RB Leipzig, he would have played with a 4-2-2-2, and now he went for a 3-4-2-1, which quite didn't work because if you look on the other side, looking at that midfield, because I felt for me this game would be won in the midfield, not about who's at the front. But if you look at that midfield, 14, 13, and 6, I mean, looking at those names, those are big names all around. You're looking at number 14, that's Rabiot. Imagine, you're looking at number 13, take a deep breath now because it's N'Golo Kante. And looking on the other side, number 6, that's Paul Pogba. No one right now can boast a better midfield in this Euro than what France have put together right there. And it was evident. They won the game based on the midfield battles. Let's put that away, OB.KNOWS. Let's get ready to talk about the fixtures that are coming up. Let's start it off with Finland versus Russia. Wow.
Yeah.
Timo Pukki.
Nah, no Timo Pukki, no Pukki time. Actually, I think they've got the monkey off their back now. I mean, I'm glad that it actually happened for them on the first day of the tournament. I do think that Finland are a team that can cause problems. I mean, I looked at some of the goals that they scored in the qualifiers, and for me, the way they attack, it looks like they're playing that prime Man City football where they try to get the player at the last pole. So one thing they want to do is get to the byline, cross that ball across, and like you were just making an example of what's the corridor of what?
The corridor of uncertainty.
Get the ball through that corridor of uncertainty, get the man on the last pole, and touch the ball into the back of the net. And that's exactly how they want to go at it. And I think it's an effective way of playing, but I don't think they're quick enough, to be able to play that style of play. Because comparing them to Manchester City, of course, you can see, the varying factors. I mean, Man City can play a very quick, very quick pace football. And on the other hand, Finland, they don't have the same amount of quality. So of course, their attack would be a bit more. They'd lose the ball a lot more than Manchester City side would do. But I do think that they pose a big threat coming into this game against Russia. But I think Russia will be able to stand the test of time when it comes to this game. Maybe a draw would be a good result for both teams.
All right, let's go to the head-to-head on the website and see basically how these two sides actually how they prepared for this game. Not how they prepared, but their history and looking at how they actually look against each other. Let's go to the website. Let's go see what's going on there. So as you can see, this is a very shocking stat. Now, 1995, since the year 1995, these teams have met 4 times. And all 4 times, the victory went the way of Russia. Now, Russia come into this game, 9 games without a win, if I'm not mistaken, in this competition. Now, that's a very worrisome stat because they qualified, but they've past 9 fixtures in the Euros have not gone according to plan. Now, a lot of people are saying this might be Russia's first win in about 10 games. Now, the question is, do you trust that, or are you going to look at the form of this Finland side and put your own mind together? Now, looking at it, as you can see, Timo Pukki, like I said, scored 10 goals in qualifying, but looking at the form, 1 victory, 3 losses in a row, and 2 draws just before that. And it's a very worrisome stat for them because the form is everything coming into this. But don't forget, they scored that 1 goal against Denmark, and it was enough to see them across the line. Now, Russia on the other side, they lost their opening game. Let's find out against who. Let's go to that L and see who they lost that first game against. They lost that first game to Belgium, a whole 3-0 whopping by Belgium. And don't forget, for me, there's an aging Russia side. I'm looking at their captain, looking at Zhirkov. There's a lot of players that, and Russia's been the team over the years that has always brought together an old side. They've not been able to put out a lot of youngsters into these competitions. But looking at the situation, do you think that OB.KNOWS, this is the one game where Russia might actually be able to win and have that 1 out of 10? Let's put the website away and hear what you have to say.
I think they can. I definitely think they can. I mean, they're a team that showed us what they can do in the previous, in the World Cup, when they hosted the World Cup. They were the talk of the World Cup, they were the surprise package as well. But I don't see the same desire from the team. They seem like a very different side. Although they're still coached by the same coach, they've pretty much got the same, players in there. We're talking about the Cheryshevs in there, who played for Real Madrid. I just don't think that in this game Finland would let them, will roll over, because looking at, like I said, Finland getting that first win was a big push for them, and I think coming into this game they'll feel that, we can actually push ourselves to at least get a point, and that's why I feel like in this game Russia will have it very hard to get the 3 points.
Well, it's a very sad stat, because now you're looking at a Timo Pukki side, Finland side, that is actually at the peak of their powers. I mean, everybody's wearing a Pukki shirt going to the stadiums. People are believing in the side, that this side may be able to put something beautiful together. And if they win against Russia, why not? I mean, that's 6 points out of 3 games. I mean, they're definitely a ticket to the knockout stages. So if they pick up all 3 points, I mean, of the two sides, Russia will know that we need this win. But for Finland, it will be like, if we get this correct. I mean, we already have 3 points against Denmark. All we need is 3 points against Russia. And by the time they face Belgium, they can let Belgium take it, because they will know that they would have had their job done on their side. And that's a race. I mean, in a group like this, we're all looking at Belgium as the antagonist. I mean, they have to go down. If you play against the Belgium, you're just hoping for that draw, because the two sides around you have already dropped points. But let's talk about the next head-to-head, which is Turkey versus Wales. Now, Wales already not picking up a result in the first game against Switzerland. And Turkey on the other side, well, they lost out to Italy, OB.KNOWS. But let's talk about this fixture. Do you think they're ready? Do you think these two teams are ready for this fixture?
I think Turkey are more of a ready side than Wales are. But I think for the fact that Wales have been in this situation before, I mean, we saw it in the first game against Switzerland, being able to fight back, from being a goal down. I think that type of mentality of being able to fight back is gonna help Wales throughout this competition. Looking at Turkey, I think Turkey are a very good side. I mean, I did say that they might even cause Italy problems in their first game, and it didn't really happen. I'm quite concerned about where the morale lies currently for Turkey. But when it comes to this game against Wales, I think they'll be smelling a bit of blood and be thinking to themselves, if we are serious about getting into the latter stages, we need to start with this game, and it's very possible for them to get the win in this game.
Well, let's go to the website. Let's go check out what OB.KNOWS is talking about in terms of the head-to-head. Now, don't forget to join us on the website. All you need to do is SMS Super TV to 30978, and you could be joining us on the Supabets website. It looks like this. Let's go see it. So when you arrive here, as you can see, since the year 1978, OB.KNOWS, these numbers are getting crazier and crazier. These two teams have met twice, and one victory either side. Now, that means the football will be played on the pitch. The highest win in this game has been 1-1, so they've both only scored 1 goal in this fixture either side. Now, as you can see, their form is both 50% for Wales, 67% for Turkey, with Wales not winning in their last 3, 2 draws and a loss in their last 3 games, while on the other side, as you can see, with Turkey, they've lost their last game against Italy, but they won the game before that, and their form is basically on 67% because of the 2 draws, the 3 wins, and the 1 loss they have. Let's go to the group stages. Let's go see what's happening there. Let's see how the groups are looking at this moment in time, because everybody's played their match day 1. Let's see how everybody has kicked off this campaign. So Italy and Switzerland are sitting in the good spots. They're sitting in first and second in Group A. As you can see, Wales, the outliers, they'll have to pick up a result against Turkey. Is it Turkey or is it Switzerland? They'll have to pick up a result against Turkey, while Switzerland have to pick up a result against Italy. And Italy, that I heard from one of our managers here at Super TV, saying that they are his favorites to win the tournament. So let's go down and look at Group B. As you can see, Belgium are sitting top of the table with Finland just behind them. Like we said, mathematically, Finland is in a great position. If they manage to beat Russia, that means Russia is definitely out of the competition. They're out. I mean, only 3 games to be played in the group stages, and then we're going on to the knockout phases. So Denmark will also be facing Russia, while Denmark will also be facing Russia, so Russia will be in trouble in terms of the group. Let's go down, OB.KNOWS.
Finland need to win. If they win, they qualify.
If they win, they qualify. It's simple.
Because there's no way Belgium's going to lose.
I mean, there's no way Belgium's going to lose to Finland. So they need to pick up the result. At least make it out to the round of 16. It'll be a great debut Euro for them. It'll be a history-making debut for them. Austria sitting top of Group C with the Netherlands just behind them. Ukraine disappointingly sitting in third, but not all is over yet. I mean, they still have to play the other 2 sides in the group. So as you can see, Ukraine sitting on no points, while North Macedonia also sitting on no points, and that's going to be how the group shapes up after match day 1. So there's Czech Republic. They're sitting in Group D. They have 3 points, the same as England, who also have 3 points. Croatia, very disappointing in their game against England. Let's see if they'll be able to pick up in this round of fixtures. But Scotland have also not been able to pick up a win with McTominay in that side, or the McSauces in that side. We're talking about Robertson as well. Let's go down, let's go to Group E. As you can see, Slovakia with 3 points, with Spain sitting on 1 point, the same amount of points as Sweden. They drew in their game, a goalless draw. As you can see, the goal difference still sitting at 0, and Poland lost with that 1 goal against Slovakia. Not in a group where you find Poland with their star striker, their best striker in a very long time, in there. They were unable to score a goal and they lost 1-0, and they're sitting bottom. They have a long way to go if they're still going to make it to that number 2 or number 1 spot. As you can see, Group F, the group of death as they've now dubbed it, and that's how we actually thought it would pan out, that top 3 sides would either be France, Germany, or Portugal, with Hungary sitting at the bottom. Hungary already conceding 3 goals as advertised in this group, and they'll be hoping that they can be able to concede less goals in the other games, because as you can see, there's France in there. They still have to play Portugal, they still have to play Germany, they still have to play France, and Portugal have played Hungary and gotten 3 against them. But as you can see, France is sitting in that second spot, they have 3 points. Germany sitting in no man's land, they have no points. But the funny thing about this group, let's put it away, is that they still have a chance, I'm talking about Germany here, to actually break into the top 2. I mean, if the results don't go according to plan for the other 2 sides, I mean, I'm talking about Portugal and France, it might be an open window for Germany to sneak in there.
It's going to be a draw.
It's going to be a draw.
Yeah, it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a sourceful draw between Portugal and France. I've seen that happen before. I'm not quite too sure where it was. Whether it was the Euros, it was a lot of these qualifiers of the friendlies.
But when it's a draw.
Yeah, when these 2 teams play against each other, it's a very, very tactical battle.
Obi
Pretty
knows.
much what we saw yesterday.
Do you mind holding that thought so we can take a break? And when we come back, we'll hear the rest of Obi.KNOWS' statement, but we'll still talk about the Copa America, and we'll make our bets. We'll be right back.
You are watching Super TV, Open View, channel 150.
Are you keen for some extra spending? Well, this week you can score yourself a 100 Rand Checkers or Pick and Pay voucher. How does it work? Tune in to Super TV to find out which Supabets store will be giving away some vouchers this week. Get yourself to that Supabets branch on the Saturday. Place a bet of 10 Rand or more. Take your slip to the manager on duty. And to claim your prize, say the magic words. Super TV has sent me. Only 10 vouchers are available per store, so don't miss out. T's and C's apply. Super TV, your place to play.
This week's store is Alexandra.
Welcome back to Mo Sports. Now, if you're just joining us, we've been talking about the Euros, but it's time for us to move on to the Copa America. Now, for those of you that don't know what the Mo Riddle is, I'm going to put it on your screen just to remind you what it is. And if you have the answer to the Mo Riddle, the number is 071-621-4746. Now, we've run out of time and we need to talk about what's happening in South America. So you can read it for yourself. Don't forget the number is 071-621-4746. Send us the answer through WhatsApp. But let's talk about the Copa America. Now, as advertised, Brazil is dominating like crazy. I mean, they've Brazil perfect. Brazil perfect. Let me talk you through the results. Now, Brazil won 3-0 against Venezuela, while Colombia won 1-0 against Ecuador. Argentina and Chile playing out to a draw with the Lionel Messi free kick being in the mix there. Paraguay beating Bolivia 3-1, and a red card was served out to Bolivia. Now, the matches that are coming up tomorrow is Colombia versus Venezuela, and then Brazil will be playing Peru, while Chile will be facing Bolivia, and Argentina will be facing Uruguay. Now, that's Suarez versus Messi. It's a whole reunion situation that's going to be going on. But Obi knows, let's talk to you because I know what's going to come out of your mouth. So let me set it up. Who's going to win the Copa?
Oh boy, what is that a question? Is that a question? I think the defending champions are taking it, my guy, and by a long stretch, By a long stretch. I think the quality in that side is just undeniable, man. Like it's just there, and you can't play around it. I mean, you look at we looked at the squad, we looked at the depth they have. They have a problem with Fred, they can bring in Fabinho. They have a problem with Fabinho, they can bring in Casemiro. It's just too much in that Brazilian team, and I don't think that if they don't win it, then they have definitely, what do they call the Proteas? The Proteas, they say they've choked. They would have choked if they don't win it. And the World Cup next year, I really want to see a game between France and Brazil. I really want to see who would take it there. Dang, it would be tough, boy. Imagine the final, World Cup final, Qatar 2022, on Christmas Day. Boy, watching Brazil play. What?
Obi.KNOWS is already buying the ticket to this World Cup. He's
I'm
ready.
gone.
He's gone already. He's bought the ticket.
I need the Duke to fall in with the Qatar. With the Qatar people, boy, and I pull up with the Duke with my hole, you know what I'm saying?
Obi.KNOWS, you know that Duke cannot have patterns like the one we have our mama's way. The one
What
for
kind
the
of
hair at
patterns?
night. You know, the one that looks like a, let's let it go. I was going to say it looks like a bandana, but a bandana is not a bandana. A bandana is not a Duke, it's a bandana. Let's move on to the website. Let me show you what we have to show you in terms of the matches that are coming up in the Copa America. At this point, there's a tournament of 10 teams. I was actually shocked. I was like, why is there only so few games? But there's only 10 teams. Colombia playing Venezuela. That's going to be taking place on the 17th, which is tomorrow. And then the day afterwards, we see Peru versus Brazil. Brazil versus Peru. Okay, the website did some other things. They spun things around. Then Chile versus Bolivia, like I said, and Argentina versus Uruguay. Let's go to Brazil versus Peru. I want to see what the head-to-head has to say about that match.
Clean sweep, boy.
So these teams have met 14 times since the year 1970. Now, Brazil is the team on the left-hand side, the closest to me. As you can see, their form is on 100%. They're sitting top of the group with 3 points. They've won 6 out of 6. Their highest win in this fixture is a 5-0. They've scored 32 games in this fixture. Their goal per game ratio is 2.29. So you expect them to at least score 2 goals. And then beyond that, look at it. It says, when playing at home, Brazil have not lost to Peru in their last 4 encounters. Now, hold on. Brazil have won 4 home matches in a row. Brazil have a winning streak of 8 matches. 8 matches. Now look at Peru. Peru are coming into this game with 25% form. They've lost 4 in a row. They only picked up a win last time out. And they're sitting third in the group. They haven't even kicked off yet in this tournament. But Brazil has already kicked off. So you look at a situation where it's trash, but it's reality. I mean, you have to face them sooner or later. But let's go down. Let's go remind the people of the squad. The squad and shit.
I really think Peru must forget.
Does Peru know?
Peru
there's no squad. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, we don't need to go chasing for the squad. It's cool. He's gonna chase for it. Let's go see it.
Yeah.
He wants to show you. He doesn't want you to be sleeping. Now look at this. I mean, at this point, Brazil have not used Edison. They've not used Emerson Felipe. Let's scroll down, Obinos. They've not used Thiago Silva. Let's scroll down. They've used Fabinho. They've not
4
used.
minutes. 4
they've,
minutes.
They've not used Douglas Luiz. Let's scroll down, Obinos. Let's see who else. They've not used Everton. They've not used Roberto Firmino. But Fitz, what more can I say about this Brazilian side? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, a lot of people in South America just out there going, it is what it is. Obinos, before you get ahead of yourself, let's switch over to the main side. Let's go make our bets.
I was about to say, these guys are young, boy, and that youngness, boy.
You reckon because they're a young squad, they're going to hurt?
They're going to hurt.
Yeah, but now heard.
They're going to hurt people.
I was watching some video and somebody was saying that in 2050, people will go to school like COVID, Simangu. They'll be saying, but now heard, let's scroll down, Obinos. Let's go to the Euro 2021.
Oh, yeah, let's start there.
Euro 2021, let's go. No. Go to starting at the Euro now. Let's go quick. Let's go make this bet real quick. Just matches for today. Nothing more, nothing less. I give this one to Finland because our money's on Finland. As much as Russia are in good books with the bookies, I don't know why the bookies would say that, but they have their reasons. We're going against them. We're going to say Finland.
You sure? But me, I'm saying draw. So what are you saying?
No, give it to Finland. Finland have more to win for. Let's give it to Turkish Delight. I'm kidding you. Let's make it a draw. That one is a draw.
This one.
Turkish Delight.
Boy, it's a win.
Okay. Burak Yilmaz.
Yes.
Oh. See what happens when you put your heart before your prayer.
Chananoglu.
Italy versus Switzerland. So the home side. A clean sweep for the home side.
Clean.
All right, Obinos, 100 clipper on that. Let's see how much we could possibly win.
The only one I'm concerned about.
Scroll down.
It's 2.5, boy. The only one I'm concerned about is this game here, boy.
You want to make it a draw?
Yes.
Okay, make it a draw. Let's see.
Then it's a win. Then
He's never ready, this one. Okay, fine. We have to figure. Let's go to, let's scroll out. Let's go to the Americans. Let's go to football. Let's go to the Americanos. So international. Then we go to the Americanos. And we arrive at the Americanos. I mean, we have to give it to, let's scroll up. Give it to,
over here.
Colombia, Venezuela. I want to give it to Colombia.
Let's give it to Colombia.
Let's give a draw to Brazil and Peru. I'm kidding. Let's give it to Brazil clean. Let's give it to Chile because they have to make up what happened against Argentina. So I think they'll be able to make that one up as well. Okay. And then let's go see how our bet slip looks now. Yeah. Because the odds are on 44. We can push a little further. Let's go up.
You sure?
Yeah. Let's just do Argentina, Uruguay. Let's make it a draw. I think Argentina will get 2 draws in a row. Let's go down.
Do you think? I'm concerned about Colombia.
Yeah.
Their last game was not so convincing.
All right, let's put the website away here. OB knows us.
Though they got positive results, I'm not convinced with the way they played, and especially with the fact that I said that they don't have James Rodriguez in that team. They don't have that creative element about them. They could struggle against Venezuela, and I think a draw would be the result that we get in that game. So I think let's put a draw on that.
All right, Obino saying we might get a draw, but let's give you the answer to the Mo riddle before we let you go on your way to go watch all these fantastic matches that are taking place today. Well, the answer to the Mo riddle, he's an Algerian international, still playing his football, more than half a century worth of appearances made. He's played for West Ham, Valencia, and is currently at Galatasaray. Who is he? Well, he is this player. Let's see who it is. Well, as you can see, there is Faguli.
Sufyan Faguli.
I wasn't expecting that, eh?
Yeah.
Faguli.
Yeah. He was part of my searches. I was looking at Riyad Mahrez last week.
And then
of
Feghouli
course,
popped up.
Feghouli was there. You know, and I think I was excited when Feghouli was coming to the Premier League. I was like, oh, finally we're going to see this African cat we've been talking about for so long. Because when they made the first time we knew him, it was that front three Algeria. Remember Slimani?
Yeah.
It was Slimani, it was Mahrez and Feghouli. What a front three
It was a front three was hot.
It was hot, and that's how I knew Sophie and Feghouli.
All right, thank you for joining us today on Mo Sports. Now, we will see you again tomorrow from... no, not tomorrow. We'll see you again on Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. here on channel 150 on your open view decoder, Super TV, powered by Supabets.